Introduction. When a woman rejects a man, most assume the story ends there, but human psychology is rarely that simple. Rejection doesn't always mean the door is permanently closed, and many men are surprised when a woman who once dismissed them suddenly shows renewed interest. This phenomenon raises the question, why do women come back after rejecting you? The answer lies in the complex layers of female psychology, which involve emotional shifts, curiosity, timing, and social dynamics. Sometimes rejection happens because she wasn't ready, was distracted by other priorities, or wanted to test your strength and resilience. Other times, she may reassess her decision after comparing you to other experiences and realizing your true value. Understanding these hidden motives not only helps men interpret women's behavior with clarity but also prevents unnecessary confusion, frustration, and false hope. By exploring the reasons behind this comeback pattern, you'll gain deeper insight into how attraction, timing, and emotional needs shape female decision-making. 1. Emotional reassessment. Emotional reassessment is the practice of stepping back from your immediate feelings, analyzing them with clarity, and reframing your perspective in a way that promotes balance, growth, and resilience. Life constantly throws us into situations that trigger emotions, sometimes joy and excitement, other times frustration, disappointment, or even anger. What separates people who crumble under emotional weight from those who thrive despite challenges is not the absence of negative emotions, but the ability to reassess and redirect them. Emotional reassessment is not about suppressing or denying what you feel. Instead, it is about pausing, observing, and questioning the story you are telling yourself about a situation. For example, when someone criticizes you, your first reaction may be to feel hurt or defensive. But through reassessment, you can choose to view that criticism as an opportunity for growth, a reflection of the other person's perspective rather than an attack on your worth. This shift doesn't remove the sting immediately, but it transforms the experience into something constructive instead of destructive. The essence of emotional reassessment lies in breaking the automatic loop between emotion and reaction. Instead of reacting impulsively, you create space for a thoughtful response. This skill cultivates inner peace because it prevents temporary emotions from dictating long-term consequences. Reassessing emotions also nurtures emotional intelligence, making you more self-aware and empathetic toward others. It teaches you to separate facts from assumptions, to see beyond the initial wave of feeling, and to align your responses with your values instead of your impulses. In relationships, this practice prevents unnecessary conflict because it helps you understand intentions rather than overreacting to words. In personal growth, it builds mental resilience, since you train yourself to endure discomfort without being controlled by it. In essence, emotional reassessment is a form of inner strength, a quiet power that allows you to rise above the turbulence of life. When you practice it consistently, you learn that no emotion is permanent, and no challenge has the power to break you unless you let it. Instead of being dragged by your emotions, you become the one guiding them, transforming raw feelings into clarity, purpose, and wisdom. Ultimately, emotional reassessment is not just about managing emotions. It is about mastering yourself. 2. Timing. Factor timing is one of the most underestimated yet most powerful factors that shape success, relationships, decisions, and even personal growth. People often assume that hard work and talent alone guarantee results. But in reality, timing can determine whether an effort flourishes or falls flat. Think of it like planting a seed. The soil may be fertile, the seed may be healthy, and the farmer may be diligent. But if the planting season is wrong, the seed will not sprout. This same principle applies to almost every area of life. The timing of when you speak, when you act, when you invest, or when you let go often carries as much weight as the action itself. For example, saying the right thing to someone at the wrong time may not have the intended effect, while waiting for the right moment could open doors you never thought possible. In business, many great ideas fail not because they are bad, but because they were introduced too early or too late. In relationships, timing determines whether two people connect deeply or miss each other entirely. Even in personal development, forcing progress before you are mentally ready can lead to frustration, while patience allows growth to unfold naturally. The lesson is that timing requires awareness and patience, learning to read situations, understanding cycles, and aligning your actions with the right moment. It is not about waiting passively, but about preparing actively so that when the right time arrives, you are ready to seize it. Mastering the timing factor is about balance, not rushing out of fear of missing out, and not delaying out of insecurity, but acting when preparation and opportunity intersect. Those who respect timing realize that life has rhythms and seasons, and wisdom lies in recognizing them. Success, therefore, is not just about doing the right thing, but about doing the right thing at the right time. 3. Curiosity and uncertainty. Curiosity and uncertainty are deeply connected forces that shape how we grow, learn, and experience life. Curiosity is the natural desire to explore, to ask questions, and to uncover what lies beyond the surface, while uncertainty is the reality that we never truly know what will happen next. Together they create a powerful tension that drives discovery, but also challenges our comfort zone. Many people resist uncertainty because it makes them feel vulnerable and unsafe. The human mind craves predictability and control. Yet, without uncertainty, curiosity has no fuel, because the unknown is precisely what sparks the urge to seek answers. When you allow yourself to embrace curiosity in the face of uncertainty, you develop resilience and adaptability, because you stop demanding perfect clarity before moving forward. For example, think about scientific breakthroughs, inventions, or even personal growth. None of these happen in environments of complete certainty. They emerge when someone is curious enough to experiment despite not knowing the outcome. The same principle applies in relationships, careers, and self-discovery. Leaning into uncertainty with curiosity transforms fear into opportunity. Instead of asking, "What if I fail?" curiosity reframes the moment as, "What can I learn if I try?" This mindset shift builds courage, because you no longer see uncertainty as a threat, but as an invitation to grow. It is also the foundation of wisdom, since people who cultivate curiosity develop the humility to admit they don't know everything and the openness to discover more. On the other hand, ignoring curiosity and clinging to certainty often leads to stagnation, repetition, and missed opportunities. The truth is, life itself is uncertain, and trying to eliminate that reality only creates anxiety and disappointment. The wiser approach is to see uncertainty as the natural backdrop of existence, and curiosity as the tool that allows you to navigate it with creativity and confidence. By training your mind to stay curious instead of fearful, you unlock the ability to turn unknowns into insights and setbacks into stepping stones. This lesson is especially vital in a rapidly changing world, where knowledge evolves daily and certainty is rare. Those who thrive are not the ones who demand guarantees, but those who keep asking questions, testing new paths, and learning from every twist of uncertainty. In this way, curiosity transforms uncertainty from a source of paralysis into a source of possibility, reminding us that the unknown is not something to hide from, but the very space where growth, innovation, and meaning are born. Comparisons with other men. One of the most destructive habits a man can fall into is constantly comparing himself to other men. On the surface, it may seem harmless, even motivating, to measure your worth against someone else's achievements, looks, status, or wealth. But underneath, it slowly eats away at your self-confidence and distorts the way you see your own value. Comparisons create a false standard that you can never truly win against, because there will always be someone richer, stronger, better looking, or more successful in some area of life. When you define yourself by how you measure up to others, you lose control over your self-image and hand over your peace of mind to people who don't even know you. The truth is, comparison is a thief. It steals gratitude, joy, and progress. Instead of asking, "Am I better than him?" you should ask, "Am I better than who I was yesterday?" Growth is not about beating other men, but about refining your own character and living a life aligned with your values. Many men waste years chasing validation because they want to outdo another man. Often in the eyes of a woman, society rise above many men, not because you tried to beat them, but because you stayed true to your own path. Women also respect men who are secure in themselves, not those who constantly feel the need to prove they are better than others. A man who doesn't compare radiates quiet confidence, while a man who does is forever insecure, no matter how many accomplishments he collects. The lesson is simple. Comparison is a mental trap, and the only real competition worth having is with the man in the mirror. Each day, strive to be wiser, calmer, stronger, and more disciplined than you were the day before. If you win against yourself, you win at life. 5. Emotional safety net. If the invisible layer of support, trust, and security that sustains a person during life's challenges, setbacks, and emotional storms. It is not about eliminating pain or shielding yourself completely from hurt, but about creating an inner and outer foundation that allows you to process difficulties without collapsing under the weight of them. An emotional safety net often begins within, built upon self-awareness, self-compassion, and emotional regulation. When you cultivate the ability to be kind to yourself instead of critical, patient instead of reactive, and mindful instead of impulsive, you create an internal anchor that steadies you in moments of uncertainty. This doesn't mean you won't feel pain, disappointment, or loss, but it means you won't drown in them. Alongside this internal strength, an external network is equally essential. Surrounding yourself with trustworthy people who offer empathy rather than judgment, encouragement rather than discouragement, and understanding rather than dismissal creates a sense of belonging that fortifies resilience. When life inevitably throws challenges your way, be it heartbreak, failure, or rejection, when you have a space where you can be vulnerable without fear of being ridiculed or abandoned, gives you the courage to keep moving forward. Emotional safety nets also function as a buffer against loneliness and despair, reminding you that you are not alone in your struggles. Moreover, they provide perspective, helping you reframe setbacks as lessons rather than defining moments of defeat. Developing such a net requires both discernment and boundaries. Not everyone is safe to confide in, and part of emotional maturity is recognizing who genuinely supports your well-being. Ultimately, an emotional safety net is less about dependency and more about interdependence, the balance of relying on yourself while allowing others to contribute to your strength. It is a combination of inner stability and external trust that allows you to face challenges without fear of being permanently broken. When you cultivate this dual support system, you carry with you the quiet confidence that no matter what life brings, you will bend but not break, stumble but not shatter, and endure without losing yourself. 6. Testing strength and value in life. Everything of true worth is tested. Strength is never revealed in comfort, but in resistance, pressure, and adversity. Just as gold is refined by fire and steel is forged by heat, so too are human beings measured by the challenges they endure and overcome. When someone or something is tested, the process is not meant to destroy, but to reveal what lies beneath the surface. Testing strength and value is a natural law that applies to relationships, careers, personal growth, and even one's character. Many people claim loyalty, integrity, or resilience, but words alone do not determine worth. Actions under trial do. A friendship, for example, may seem strong in times of joy, but its true value is revealed when hardship arrives. Similarly, a person may appear disciplined when life is easy, yet, when confronted with failure, rejection, or loss, the real depth of their discipline is exposed. Testing also plays a crucial role in self-discovery, because until a person is placed in difficult situations, they cannot fully understand the extent of their courage, patience, or inner power. This principle is why great leaders, thinkers, and Stoics often welcomed trials not because they enjoyed suffering, but because they knew that through testing comes clarity and refinement. In the same way, you should not fear the tests life places before you, but see them as opportunities to measure and prove your value. If your strength collapses at the first sign of resistance, then it was only an illusion of strength. But if you endure, adapt, and rise, your value increases in the eyes of others and, more importantly, in your own. Testing is not punishment, it is proof. Proof that you are capable of carrying burdens, of withstanding storms, and of living with a grounded sense of worth. When you view obstacles as examinations of your strength rather than unfair setbacks, you empower yourself to grow. Every test becomes a sharpening tool, cutting away weakness and exposing resilience. The greatest mistake is to avoid testing altogether, because untested value remains unproven, and unproven strength cannot be trusted. Therefore, embrace the trials, for they are the scales upon which your true weight in this world is measured. Your worth is not what you claim, but what you withstand, and only through testing does the truth of your strength and value shine without doubt. 7. Changed perception. Changed perception is one of the most powerful shifts a person can experience, because it changes not the external world, but how we interpret it. Many times people believe that the events, circumstances, or individuals around them determine how they feel and respond. Yet in reality, it is the lens of perception that shapes meaning. Two people can go through the exact same situation, as losing a job, being rejected, or facing criticism, yet walk away with entirely different outcomes. One may see it as a devastating loss, while the other may view it as an opportunity to grow, reorient, and create a better future. This demonstrates that perception is not fixed. It is fluid, conditioned by beliefs, emotions, and past experiences. The lesson of changed perception begins when we recognize that while we may not control every external event, we do have the power to control the interpretation we give to it. This does not mean ignoring pain or pretending negativity does not. It exists, but rather it means choosing to elevate our understanding. A rejection can be reframed as redirection. Failure can be reframed as feedback. Even difficult people can be seen as teachers of patience, resilience, and self-mastery. When perception changes, the same reality begins to feel lighter, more empowering, and less threatening. It also cultivates emotional maturity. Since we stop being enslaved by temporary conditions and instead become guided by higher awareness, the Stoics understood this well, teaching that it is not things themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about them. By practicing awareness, questioning automatic thoughts, and reinterpreting situations with wisdom, we train ourselves to see with new eyes. Changed perception not only protects us from unnecessary suffering, but it also opens doors we previously thought were closed. It allows us to forgive where we once held resentment, to act with confidence where we once hesitated, and to persist where we once felt defeated. Ultimately, the world outside is a mirror of the world inside. The more we refine our inner vision, the more peace and clarity we experience in daily life. Thus, the lesson is simple yet profound. Change the way you look at things, and the things you look at will begin to change. 8. Fear of missing out. FOMO. The fear of missing out, FOMO, is a powerful psychological phenomenon that influences how people think, feel, and behave in their daily lives. At its core, FOMO is the anxiety or uneasiness that others are experiencing something enjoyable, rewarding, or valuable while you are left out. This feeling is amplified in today's digital age, where social media platforms constantly showcase highlights of other people's lives, vacations, parties, relationships, achievements, or even small daily pleasures. FOMO creates a mental trap where you compare your behind-the-scenes reality with someone else's carefully curated best moments. This often leads to dissatisfaction, stress, and the belief that you are not doing enough or living fully. Psychologically, FOMO stems from both insecurity and the deep human need for belonging. We are social creatures wired to seek approval and connection. When we sense exclusion, it activates feelings of rejection and inadequacy. Left unchecked, FOMO can lead to compulsive behaviors such as constantly checking notifications, overcommitting to activities, or making impulsive decisions just to feel included. In relationships, it may cause distrust or jealousy, while in personal life it often creates restlessness and distraction, preventing one from appreciating the present moment. Overcoming FOMO requires self-awareness and the practice of your mindset. Instead of seeing missed opportunities as losses, it helps to recognize them as choices, choosing to focus on what aligns with your values, priorities, and long-term goals. Gratitude is also a powerful antidote. When you genuinely appreciate what you already have, the urgency of comparison weakens. Furthermore, cultivating joy of missing out shifts your perspective from scarcity to abundance, allowing you to find peace in intentional disconnection and self-contentment. By reminding yourself that no one can experience everything and that every choice involves trade-offs, you gain freedom from the cycle of comparison. In truth, life's richness does not come from chasing every opportunity but from being fully present in the ones you choose. FOMO will always exist in some form, but when managed with awareness and discipline,